ahead on 12 News, Moms on the Move, the new group in Maple Grove that has a different way of running the town. Then, many hands that made light work, or in this case, a brand new building in time to celebrate Easter. But first, a call for action on guns from a man who survived a case of gun violence. 12 News starts right now. Thanks for joining us. As efforts continue in Washington to pass a bill that would require universal background checks on all gun sales, Minneapolis mayor and victims of gun violence make a plea to a local member of Congress.
Minneapolis Mayor R.T. Ryback stepped into Representative Eric Paulson's district today to call on the Republican congressman to support the universal background check proposal. Delane Cleveland was there, and he joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Shannon, Mayor Ryback was joined by a survivor of the accent signage shooting. Their message to Congressman Paulson was pretty straightforward. Support the plan for universal background checks or risk losing the next election.
It really comes down to an individual in your neighborhood who's going to walk into the polling place in a year and a half and choose who's going to represent them for Congress in the 3rd District. And the person who's currently representing you for Congress in the 3rd District is not representing the values of the people who every poll and your common sense tells you this district believes in.
Mayor Ryback spoke today at the Ridgedale Library in Minnetonka, which is right in the heart of Congressman Paulson's district. Other supporters of universal background checks joined him, including Wayzata resident John Suter, who was injured during the accent signage shooting in Minneapolis on September 27th.
People are making this about the Second Amendment. It's not. It's about doing the right thing to curb this kind of violence.
A spokesman for Representative Paulson emailed us the following statement from the congressman, which says, "I continue to meet with law enforcement leaders, mental health professionals, and others to find effective solutions to reduce gun violence, including fixing holes in the existing background check system." The subject of universal background checks is part of a push in the U.S. Senate to tighten federal firearm legislation, but the debate has not made its way to the Republican-controlled House. Mike?
All right, Delane, thanks. Brooklyn Park residents say they will be extra vigilant after a St. Paul man was shot and killed in their neighborhood. The shooting occurred this past weekend inside a home in the 10,000 block of Georgia Avenue North. Police say a party had been going on before the shooting, and crime statistics show that neighborhood has had relatively few crime issues.
We all know each other. That's right. And it was very, very, unnerving to know something like that was going on.
Wednesday night, Brooklyn Park Police took time to answer questions and reveal what they could about the crime. 5 suspects were originally arrested in connection with the shooting. No charges have been filed in the case yet, but police are confident that will happen.
A former postal worker faces federal charges of embezzling from the Brooklyn Park Post Office. Federal prosecutors say 52-year-old Kathleen Warner of Osseo has been indicted on a charge of misappropriation of postal funds. She allegedly embezzled money from her cash drawer and removed stamps and other merchandise without paying for them. Prosecutors say it added up to a loss of more than $10,000 over 2.5 years. A group of religious leaders are using Holy Week to shed light on an issue that has little to do with Easter.
They met in Brooklyn Park Thursday to talk about foreclosure. Renee Bonneau was there for that meeting and joins us with more on that. Renee?
Mike and Shannon, last year nearly 18,000 foreclosures were reported in Minnesota. Clergy and community members gathered outside a foreclosed home in Brooklyn Park to call on legislators to pass the so-called Homeowners Bill of Rights.
We're proposing that banks enter into mediation with people going through foreclosure, that there's an opportunity for people to have one single point of connection between themselves and the bank so that people can have one person they're talking to instead of being pushed around many departments and many people and never know, what the answer to their questions are.
The group held a short procession. They carried a large cross and said prayers for victims of foreclosure. They say they chose to gather on Holy Thursday because they believe people in foreclosure suffer betrayal and shame as Jesus did.
Jesus and his followers were, if nothing else, forgotten people. The people who are going through foreclosure in Minnesota are forgotten. They're forgotten sometimes by the communities. They're certainly forgotten by the banks.
Representatives Melissa Hortman and Mike Freiberg have each authored a bill mandating mediation and prohibiting so-called dual tracking during the foreclosure process. Dual tracking is where a mortgage lender starts a foreclosure while at the same time working with the homeowner to modify his loan. And Mike and Shannon, those bills are still being worked out in committees. A lot of things are still up in the air, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Renee. One of Brooklyn Park's oldest farmhouses has been torn down after farming the land for decades. The Fishbach Farm is making way for a new highway project along Highway 169 at County Road 30. 2 farmhouses and other buildings came down yesterday. They've been on that corner for years. But as the highway got busier, the intersection became one of the most dangerous in the state, and officials decided it was time for the stoplight to go. Monday, the work starts in earnest to build an overpass that will eliminate the last stoplight between Champlin and Shakopee. Motorists are being advised to watch for traffic detours. The project will wrap up in November.
Members of a Brooklyn Park church will be celebrating Easter in a brand new building and in a way they were not allowed to in their home country. It's taken sweat equity from dozens of members of Bethany Russian Baptist Church to make their building a reality. Doing much of the labor themselves saves about 30% on construction costs. Most members are from the former Soviet Union, where practicing religion was difficult. And for this congregation, Easter marks an important anniversary.
So not even a full year and we're in the building already. So this Easter, actually exactly 1 year since the time we started it. And I mean, we see this, the strength and the power of community, but more importantly, we see and celebrate the power of God evident in resurrection of Christ.
Right now, services are held in the gymnasium, which can hold more than 700 worshipers. And after all this work, money is a bit tight, so it could be a couple of years before they begin to build the church's actual sanctuary. Right now, services are held in Russian. They do plan to add an English service in the near future. A standout student from Armstrong High School has grand plans for college, but stay tuned to see what she hopes to accomplish after getting her college degree.
Then later in sports, Champlin Park's softball team is hoping to build on last spring's strong season.
But first, a check of your AccuWeather forecast. Most of our standout students have stellar academics and outstanding leadership qualities.
And today's standout student is no different, but what makes Michelle Kofa from Armstrong High School unique is what she wants to do after high school.
Should it be negative X?
Teacher Tim Lloyd considers students in this advanced calculus class the best of the best.
Advanced college-level math class.
Students tackle hard problems in class and study 4 to 5 hours every week at home.
There's some nights where I will have to wake up like at 2 in the morning just to finish homework, or go to bed at 2 and have to wake up at 4 to finish up homework. So it's hard, but you know, I think I'm the type of person who I'm very motivated to get stuff done.
Michelle Kofa is one of the youngest students in the class, but she doesn't shy away from standing out.
She's well respected by staff and peers, and she is very personable, and she knows when it's time to work.
But the road hasn't been an easy one. Michelle immigrated from Liberia when she was 3.5.
Adjusting to the school system here was really hard for me, because I remember my first day of kindergarten, I was still an immigrant. I was very young still. So I couldn't understand what kids were saying, and I would just say yes to everything.
Her parents pushed Michelle and her brother to excel in American schools, and they have. Her brother is at Dartmouth, and Michelle hopes to start at a prestigious college this fall.
I have to go back to my country one day and make a change in the lives of other children.
Michelle has aspirations of working in the Liberian government one day.
That has really been my motivation, I think, to, I guess, transition and to get accustomed to this country, because I know I can make a better life for other people if I do that right now.
But first, Michelle leads where she is, standing out at Armstrong for her leadership skills, her smarts, her drive, and her smile.
Her big focus is that she's here for more than just the schooling. Schooling is important to her, but she's also here for the greater good.
Michelle and her parents will be sharing her Liberian heritage at an upcoming community education workshop. It's on Monday, April 8th from 6 until 8 at the Sandberg Learning Center. And Michelle's mother is even planning on cooking for the event. It's going to be a big deal. She's excited about it, but you have to register. And if we put more information on our website.
Okay, 12.tv.
That's right. Coming up, the moms who don't accept excuses for not exercising.
Meet the new Maple Grove group that motivates and makes fitness fun. But first in sports, a young Cooper baseball team is looking to put it all together this spring. John Jacobson has a team preview when we come back. A good season last year for Champlin Park softball. The question, can they do it again?
Can they get outside?
Yeah, well, that's a big question.
Yes, yeah, a lot of good players back, and they're certainly optimistic. As April approaches, local softball teams are working hard to prepare for the season while crossing their fingers that the rest of the snow will melt off their fields. The Champlin Park Rebels are coming off a 16-win season, the most in school history. Rebels won their first 3 playoff games and nearly knocked off eventual state runner-up Maple Grove in their 4th. 6 starters are back, and things look very promising this spring.
I'm super excited. I feel like we have a lot of young talent and a lot of younger players coming up, and we have a lot of good returning players coming back, and I'm really excited, and I feel like this year is going to be a really good outcome. And
we can do it. I mean, we saw against the Maple Grove team. It was 1-1, and we were neck and neck with them, and they got one good hit, and I think that if we play every team like we play against Maple Grove, the Centennial, we can absolutely do amazing, great things.
I'm excited about the season, and the girls have really put in a lot of great work in the offseason, and I think it's going to be a fun season.
Third baseman Kara Stuckmeyer, shortstop Maggie Craig, second baseman Courtney Potter, and first baseman Gabby Paulsrud are all back, along with catcher Emma Lehman. Standout pitcher Katie Herron graduated. Senior Gabby Oakley and junior Cassie Meyer will take over that role. The players say that softball is becoming a bigger thing at their school, and it's exciting.
I think that slowly but surely it's starting to become seen as like a real sport. And I know as us captains, especially seniors, we really want to get everybody out here and to see us play and stuff like that. And we have super fan shirts now, and it's not a big deal yet, but I'm sure it's going to get there.
The Rebels open the season with 2 tough ones. They host Centennial April 10th and then play at Maple Grove April 11th. Being stuck in the gym makes it hard to figure out what kind of baseball team you have, and that's even more of a challenge when you have a lot of newcomers like the Cooper Hawks do. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
With only a few returning varsity players, the Cooper baseball team is a work in progress.
There's going to be a lot of kids who haven't played at this level that need to step up, try to win a spot, and try to produce.
But the upside of having so many young players is competition. Spots are up for grabs all over the field and up and down the lineup, and that creates a sense of urgency for the kids.
We don't have to make any decisions for 2-3 weeks as far as the varsity level and the JV soft level. Kids can keep battling. There can be 35 kids still battling for the next 2 weeks about where are they going to land. They're going to land at the varsity level or the soft JV level.
The Hawks expect to be solid on defense, and they'll probably have to be since their pitchers will also be young and inexperienced.
There's a couple kids that I've caught with over the summer that didn't get as much varsity playing time, so I kind of know how they throw and I know what pitches they need to still develop more. So I've been talking to them about that a little bit.
Senior outfielder Nawan Norke is Cooper's only returning starter, and he can flat out play the game. Norke is quiet by nature, but with such a young team, he's trying to be more than just a lead-by-example guy.
I'm trying to break out of my shell a little bit and try to help more people and be a little more talkative, I guess, but I'm working on it.
Like all baseball teams, Cooper hopes to get outside soon. When that happens, Palm and his coaches will finish piecing together a team and get ready for another spring on the diamond. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
The Hawks are scheduled to start the season next week with road games against Fridley Thursday and Osseo Saturday, but that seems likely to change. With the strong teams we had this winter in boys basketball in the area, it's no surprise that the upcoming Minnesota All-Star Series has a good Northwest Suburbs representation. 2 players from Park Center's Class 4A runner-up team will play in next week's 4-team event, which is for seniors. Devin Buckley will play for the gold team, and a guy you might have heard of, Quentin Hooker, for the green team. Armstrong's Nick O'Hara, Garrison Guard, and Isaiah Hansen of Class A runner-up Maranatha, and Bridge Tussler of Osseo High School will also play. It starts Friday night with 2 games at St. Cloud State with three-point and dunk contests preceding each game. A week from Saturday, then it moves to McAllister with Friday's losing teams meeting for 3rd place and the winners playing for the championship. And we'll hear from the local guys next week at their practice sessions for the tournament. So a lot of talent in that series, and it'll be fun to watch.
Definitely is. All right, thanks, John. A quick way to give your child a quick view of nature.
Meet the moms who saddle in the kids and take on the trails when we come back. Well, it's probably no surprise many moms are busy these days and barely have enough time to relax, let alone exercise.
But a new running group in Champlin, Maple Grove area is helping to get moms moving and motivated. Sonia Goins has her story.
Well, I'm right here. Come on. I know there's a lot of us with kids around the same age, so we can get our kids together. We can bring our kids to run.
Ready? Me too. Strap the kids in the stroller and these moms are ready to roll.
You ready?
The Maple Grove chapter of Moms Run This Town couldn't wait to hit stride through the Elm Creek Park Reserve. And who can blame them? Woo! There was plenty to see, including deer.
Moms Run This Town inspires me to get out and get my body moving.
There are about 60 members in the chapter.
My reason for running is it's fast and efficient exercise. It's time for me. I'm a teacher. I'm a mom of 2 very busy kids.
Amy Holmstrom says the group helps her to stay motivated.
Get the miles done, get the motivation going.
And then there's the accountability factor.
It's always support, and you know that people are counting on you. And you know those days where you're like, oh, I just don't really want to run, but you know if you get out there and people just start talking and distract you, and you'll do it.
Jen Schumacher is hardcore.
I am training for my 21st marathon.
But you don't have to go as hard as Jen. The group is made up of all levels. You've got the joggers and the speedsters.
When I run with this group, I'm not trying to prove anything or push myself. It's those, you know, just fun workouts for me.
But members say the group is not just about running.
Motivation, support, making new friends. I think that it's really important for moms to know that something like this exists so that they can get out there and make the runs a little easier and have something in common with the people they're running with.
Their trail stories cover just about everything: child rearing tips, health, and advice on relationships.
I'm inspired by everybody's story. Everybody's there for a different reason, and I love the conversation and the miles that we put out together.
You can do it. It's just a couple feet away.
They encourage each other to finish what they started.
How did that feel?
That was great workout. First outdoor run.
The Maple Grove Champlin Running Group is free and open to anyone, and for more information you can log on to our website 12.tv, and I bet they really appreciate the nice weather, being able to get out there and run.
Did you see Sonia keeping up too?
I did. She did pretty well. She's a runner.
Yeah, she ran right along with them. That's great.
That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next.